Hello, everybody. Let's see, is this actually live? That's the real question. Lord only knows if it is. Just says it's starting soon. Right now, this says it is live. There are 41 viewers. If it is indeed live right now, I don't know what the lag is like. Could you just tweet at me or in the comments say yes? And then once I see some yeses, we'll dive into the actual fun of everything. Just want to allow everybody to be getting in here. I anticipate that this will probably run, just giving you all kind of a sense of where this is going to go. I think we'll spend about an hour's time or so of you just kind of prompting me to discuss the films that I saw. And then after that, we might just open to Q&A. So you're more than welcome to be sending tweets or comments about the movies or questions you have. Just know the order at which I will be addressing them. So I think now that, a minute or so has passed, and okay, people can hear me. Yes, it's live. That is fantastic. We're gonna dive right into it. Thank you at Spark Sucks for saying you're live, dog. So just jumping in on from Twitter, I already yesterday had a few. I'd love to talk about these movies. So the very first one I got was from Roger Tonlist. I am probably terribly mispronouncing your name, but you had requested Don John. Don John, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt's directorial debut. He also wrote and starred in the film. It's basically about the character of John. Yeah, his name's John. I'm suddenly doubting myself, but Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character is a bit of a porn addict, but has a good job and all these other things going well for him. He happens to meet Scarlett Johansson, and it's about just love, relationships, and whether or not porn is going to be the rift in their relationship. And it soon becomes apparent that, Scarlett Johansson initially strikes him as a wonderful princess that he's, really earned and all that stuff, and has to, fight to get her. But the problem is that, for him, porn is always better than the actual sex, so that causes a bit of a rift. Like I already said, I am repeating myself. Forgive. I think it's well acted. I think the film overall is well acted. It's a little over the top, but I think in an intentional manner, somewhat heightened reality for what the entire world feels like. Like there's a point when they kiss where it is obviously overdone. The camera does a wonderful little circle around them. There are lights just flashing about. It's pretty fun. I wouldn't say that it's a standout movie of the year, but for a first film, it's very strong. There are also wonderful parallels of just repeated beats that we see of this shot, and we see it repeated a few times over, so we get to see how he's feeling differently. Also, and now I am blanking on her name, so I'm going to, and I can't believe I'm blanking on her name, because I really enjoy her always, so you're going to get to see me deal with IMDb right now. Forgive. As I search it on my phone. No, not Scarlett Johansson. I know she's in it. Oh, Julianne Moore. There we go. Julianne Moore is also in it, and she's great. And now my roommate has just walked in and is staring at me with his tired eyes. Hey, Alex, I told you this live stream was happening. um, if you want to follow him on Twitter, Sham Shandwich. Check that one down. He's real fun on Twitter. I think it's well acted. Also, Tony Danza is really good in it, and Brie Larson. Although I do feel her character's a bit of a cliche, as she's the character who doesn't talk until the very end, and then has some like, oh, this is exactly what. Like I've been dropping all this knowledge, and like I've been the silent listener the whole time, and I've got the best perspective on things. It's a bit overdone, but I mean, I always like Brie Larson. Not asked for yet, but just because it's a good transition. Short Term 12 was a movie I saw this year that completely floored me. It's like on a pretty rough subject of kids coming from like troubled teen housing, so they might be in various situations of like in between foster care and stuff like that. And so Brie Larson and various other people are working there, and they're all relatively young. But it's just it's a very well balanced film as far as just everybody getting a moment to shine. While it is primarily Brie Larson who is like the clear protagonist, it does feel very much like an ensemble piece, and it's really well bookended because it opens and closes on the same sort of vibe. So you just get to see like, oh, this is just a normal. This is like a standard week for them. But of course, we see that Brie Larson's character is going through a lot for various different reasons. Just like there was something about it. I mean, it clearly does have the indie vibe to it, but it's very human in its performance. It's very honest. It's also very pretty. There's just like a simplicity to the whole thing that I really enjoyed, and you get to see Brie Larson just be a little bit unhinged, and it's very enjoyable. Yeah, Arthur O'Reilly, I didn't see The Spectacular Now, and I heard she was fantastic in it. That's one I need to track down. There were quite a few, man oh man, that I missed that really bummed me out. Switching back to Twitter to deal with some of these before I then jump over to comments. Before Midnight was asked to be discussed by Marcus Jones. This was another movie that I walked into completely knowing nothing about. I did that a lot this year, and just based on somebody saying, oh, this movie's really good, you should check it out. And I was very impressed. The thing about Before Midnight is it's part of a trilogy, but I have not seen either the first or second film.
Yeah, it's part of a trilogy, and the other two movies were like 10 years apart.
Yeah, but I went into this and I loved it, despite having not seen all the previous stuff going on, because you are kind of clued into all the backstory of the characters, like and it stars Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. There we go. I wasn't sure on pronouncing her name correctly. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. They've been basically they met in the first movie, then they re-meet in the second movie, and in the third movie they are. This is only from what I've been told. I still haven't seen the first two, but it's now them as they're a married couple. They have two girls, and it's just them. Like, there's not a ton of story to be had per se, but their chemistry is absolutely fantastic. This actually, Before Midnight, was my favorite film of 2013. It was just like a very interesting discussion of love, gender roles, and like the varying perspectives that they have on the whole thing is really just interesting. Um, some might find the film a little self-indulgent, but I think it was very just an interesting exploration of a relationship, and with the foundation like of knowing, oh, this is part of a trilogy where you really get to be seeing them grow and everything. Like I'm now looking forward to watching those two and the third like in very quick succession of one another. Um, Also, I mean, there there is something about, I don't know, just like Linklater, the director, Richard Linklater, that I really like. He tends to really try interesting things like that. He's also got he he's got a movie that's coming out, I think this year, that he shot like over the course of 10 years or so with like the same cast just spaced out, so similar to this Before trilogy. Um, and I mean, he's also done a bunch of other great stuff. I mean, Dazed and Confused. What else has he done? He did A Scanner Darkly and Waking Life, I believe. I want to say Waking Life, but I could be completely wrong now. I'm checking IMDb. Yeah, he did Waking Life. He's just got like a really varied filmography that just looking at all of his work, you'd be like, this is all the same guy? This is all the same guy? It's very, very impressive. Um, which actually, in terms of, I managed to transition that way better than I care to without then actually giving you the transition, because I'm just scatterbrained like that. Somebody on Twitter, and I can't find the tweet now because my Twitter has exploded. Um, uh, Trance is a film that Danny Boyle did that I saw, and Danny Boyle's another director who really varies it up in terms of the genres that he directs. I mean, he's done 28 Days Later, 127 Hours, um, Slumdog Millionaire. Like, I mean, he really varies it up, and he doesn't tend to revisit genres. So in the case of Trance, it's an art heist film with I spilled on myself. You all saw that. I didn't need to declare it. With James McAvoy, and it's the whole idea of he needs to go to a sleep hypnosis therapist to figure out where and what happened with this stolen art, because during the heist he got knocked in the head, and then the piece of art that they were in the middle of stealing went missing. I thought the film in general was an interesting concept, and I always really like heist films, but it just felt like it was overly complicated in terms of just like all the zigging and zagging that needed to be going on. I felt that the performances were fairly strong, and visually the film is very cool. There's a pretty great moment with sort of a near the end when a head might be sliced off. That was a pretty cool effect. A little bit graphic, but visually stunning. I wouldn't walk away being like this was Danny Boyle's strongest stuff. I definitely preferred I'd say 28 Days Later is one of my favorites from him. Even 127 Hours. His stuff with numbers. I really like his stuff with numbers. And yeah, I like Trainspotting and all that fun stuff. Let's switch to the comments now. Oh, Blackfish. Stephen Miller just said Blackfish was interesting. I'd say Blackfish was more than interesting. Blackfish, for those unfamiliar, is the documentary that you watch if you just want to hate SeaWorld more than anything in the world. The basic premise of, or narrative of it, is how SeaWorld has essentially driven these orcas into states that they're going to naturally lash out as they're kept in terrible conditions terrible living conditions, and this one orca, Tilican, I believe is the name, was initially a part of Sealand up north, not in SeaWorld, and was kind of abused and battered by the other whales, and then that attraction was shut down, and he was then sold to SeaWorld, and then there have been a series of attacks that Tilican has been a part of, but SeaWorld would always write it off as trainer negligence. So unwilling to admit that the reason for these accidents with the various whales and whatnot was because, you know, this whale might be dangerous, perhaps because of all the terrible things that have gone on in its life. And to only make matters worse, this potentially deranged whale has been like the primary breeder for all the whales at SeaWorld, all subsequent SeaWorlds. So it just like, I mean, there's a whole like animal, like if you are a lover of animals, this movie will just make you very angry. And like, I mean, it also has made me really think about zoos in a similar sense. I don't know about zoos, and I don't frequent zoos at all, and I really don't frequent SeaWorld that much either. But just the whole idea of animals being in captivity and all that stuff. Also, this was kind of fun just outside of seeing, outside of the actual movie of Blackfish. When I went and saw it, I just, by happenstance, happened to meet a fan of Belated Media. So that was pretty cool. I believe she was just in town for like a concert. I believe her name was Candy, but I'm not 100% sure. But it was cool meeting you. If you happen to be watching this, it was cool meeting you. And I hope you enjoyed the film. So moving on. Okay, jumping to another comment, The World's End. I really enjoyed The World's End. However, I definitely was going into it expecting it to be a little bit more over the top and outrageous in terms of its comedy than more like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. And the comedy was still there, but it was a little more subdued, a little more mature. The overall tone was more like the message being like, hey, we've grown up and we're moving on, which works on so many levels of, one, the character of Gary King, played by Simon Pegg, needed to be growing up and moving on. And then in a similar sense, it was Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost, I think, anyway, kind of telling their audience, like, hey, we're going to be doing different things. We've grown up. We're moving on. And so it was like a kind of bittersweet comedy in that sense. Of course, there were robots and that were the robotic aliens that were trying to take over. And I did feel that the ending conflict, which is a bit of a Douglas Adams Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy sort of confrontation, I thought that was fun. I mean, I always enjoy Edgar Wright stuff, and I love Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and I love just the whole cast that they had assembled for that. Although I will say the standout in this film was Nick Frost. Just everything he was doing, the physical comedy he does is so brilliant. I'm really excited for Cuban Fury, which comes out this year. I'm hoping it delivers, and I'm hoping it's just not kind of like schlocky. But it's got a great cast. I'm really excited for like Chris O'Dowd and Rashida Jones in that. I'm getting a little bit off topic as I do. But yeah, I thought it was a strong comedy. Not my favorite of the trilogy. That still will always be Shaun of the Dead for me, but it's quite good. Also, for those of you who back in my Paul review when I was like, I think Paul was better than Hot Fuzz. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I rewatched both of those films, and yeah, Hot Fuzz is really, really fun and just like fast-paced and quick and bouncing all over the place. Now we have from Duncan Host. I feel like you post on Facebook regularly on the Facebook page. I appreciate you for that. I hope I'm thinking of the right Duncan Host. So you were asking about blue is the warmest color. I I was a fan of it. For those of you unfamiliar, it was the film that won at Cannes Film Festival. I believe I might be talking out of my ass on this one, but I'm like fairly certain it won. Um, it is a patient film. It's French. It's about a relationship between two girls, and one who's an older artist and one who's figuring it out and ultimately becomes a teacher. It's following the teacher whose name escapes me at the moment, so I'm doing the IMDb thing. My memory is just the worst with character names. Um, uh, um, but it's about their relationship, and I thought that the film was really, really well acted. Like I thought like all the performances are great. The two females have great chemistry together. I will say the film at some points a little too patient. There's a sex scene, the first like sex scene between the two girls that it runs long. Like I definitely found myself watching, and I understand the point and length is supposed to like attribute itself to like how passionately in love they are and all of that, but it just started to border on the line of excessive, where even in the audience, when it would be like another cut and we'd still be there making love, you'd be like, all right, there'd be some like laughter of just like this is going on for a really long time. Um, but I thought overall it was very good. Um, it was a really like interesting in just the fact that it had these temporal jumps that didn't necessarily clue you in, but you'd like catch up with it. And it was interesting because I definitely went in thinking that it was going to be focusing more on perhaps the family dynamic and just like, oh, this high school girl is dating now an older female. Like I was thinking it was going to be focusing more like on the family perspective of things because we didn't really start to explore elsewhere for a while. But I really liked the direction it went, and there's a good through line just in terms of like music and things, especially at the point of contact and then at the very end. But I will say, and this is just like something that always happens, like if there's a word or the title that happens to be incorporated into the movie, in this case it's like blue is the warmest color, of course my eyes are now immediately like, see, whenever blue is on screen, I almost found it distracting, whereas if blue is the warmest color wasn't the name of the film, I don't think I would be so inclined to that. It's the same thing with like characters needing to say the title of the movie, like when in Desolation of Smaug it's said by Balin, I believe, and he's like, this is the Desolation of Smaug. You're just like, well, there it is. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's something that distracts me a little bit, but it happens. Moving on up, moving on up, moving on up. Wolf of Wall Street. Oh, there's another film that has a bit of excessiveness to it. I thought that Wolf of Wall Street was excellently acted. I also thought that, like, I mean, Leo is always great. I love him. I think he does a stellar job in just being despicable in this film. But I did think this film was a little too long. And it kind of lacked a bit of perspective in that, I mean, we've got a situation where we're like, okay, we're dealing with this Wall Streety type who's selling penny stocks and exploiting the greed of others. So it initially runs in with him doing voiceover. This is my house. This is how wonderful my life is. Then we cut in and he's talking to the camera. Still, okay, we're getting everything from his perspective. But there are several points where we start to break how we're viewing the film. We've got a few moments where we're getting his internal monologue while it's going on in the scene, and then we cut to other characters and we get their thoughts, which for the sake of comedy is very funny, but it's like a really quick one-off that, I don't know, it feels like that might have been something that was added in post, and it really just strikes me as, I don't know, it detracts from the overall angle and perspective on the piece. Also, there like are a few points where we go sort of third person, like when he's finally captured by Kyle Chandler's character, how it starts out as an infomercial, and then it kind of cuts. That one I was more forgiving of, but there were just like those weird perspective shifts that were distracting to me, I felt. Um, I had a thought and it escaped my head. Oh, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. Is it going to come back? Maybe not. It's not coming back. I might jump back to Wolf of Wall Street on this. Oh, no, was there, and then it was gone. Yeah, we'll be back on Wolf of Wall Street, I assume. Um, Please talk about Her, asks Michael Joel Mintz. I loved it. I'm a huge fan of Spike Jonze. I love the worlds that he creates, and his vision of the future was really cool. Maybe it also helps that I'm from Los Angeles, so I got to be like, oh, I recognize these places, but they're different. But I love the aesthetic. I liked just the changes in fashion and style, like the fact that it was like the really high waists for like men's clothing and stuff like that. I thought the performances were great. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix he's solid. Scarlett Johansson as Samantha is great. Like just everyone in this film is very well cast. I'm always delighted when I get to see Chris Pratt in various roles, especially just side roles, because he really just plays them well. I'm a big fan of Chris Pratt, and I'm really excited that he's in so much coming up in 2014. Like, he's the main character in the Lego movie, which I could not be more excited for. And then he's also, I mean, he's in Guardians of the Galaxy, which is, I think, a 2015 release. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe it's 2014. If it is, I'm excited. Either way, I'm excited. But yeah, Her was just a really good exploration of, what a relationship is founded on and all that sort of, like, dissecting it. It was also really cool for me because I think this film is very much like a generational film, because I definitely found myself and my friends who are like 20, 30-somethings being way more interested in this film, whereas our parents are like, I don't understand it. This is weird. This is weird. Like, why would you have a relationship with a computer? And I find like that's almost exactly what the film is supposed to be kind of prompting you to be asking yourself, like, well, what is a relationship like, and like what is the foundation for it? So that's a pretty slick thing that I feel like just in presenting like the trailer, it immediately had people talking, which was, I think, I mean, every film I feel should have you discussing at least some point about it. So I like that. I mean, the trailer in and of itself like gave me chills. Just that, like, how would you touch me? Just like immediately is like, oh, this changes everything about the dynamic that these characters are going to be going through. And God, that trailer was like the movie. The movie's great, but the trailer like was just so good at like telling you exactly what it needed to. And Carano's music was great as always. Yeah, this was another. There were a lot of strong movies this year. Her, I hope goes on to win Best Original Screenplay. And I want more stuff from Spike Jonze. I know he takes his time in between things, but he always just creates such interesting stuff, like his shorts, his music videos, all of his films. They're all just very, very strong. If you're unfamiliar with his work, I definitely encourage you to check him out. Let's switch to Twitter to see what's going on there. 17 tweets since I last checked. Oh goodness. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. Oh, most of these are. Oh, Fruitvale Station. I don't. This is coming from John, I think, or Spark Sucks at Spark Sucks. Um, he says, "Did you think that Fruitvale Station was snubbed awards-wise? I really enjoyed it. I liked Fruitvale Station a lot. I thought Michael B. Jordan was really like, I mean, his performance was great. I think, unfortunately, we exist in an awards climate where the films with the money are going to be the ones that are kind of making it out because they're able to send screeners to like everybody and really get the word out. And just in everybody hearing the buzz, they're going to be more inclined, even if they've received a screener from Fruitvale, like they're like, oh, but I've heard about Wolf of Wall Street, and like I definitely am familiar with like these names, so they're more inclined to do it. I mean, I think the performance that he gives is stellar. I do feel that the way the film was structured was such that, because right out of the gate it shows you the footage of the actual event. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this is the story of a man who was on the BART train up in San Francisco on New Year's, I believe, for New Year's, and there was a bit of a police altercation, and he was shot without like attacking or anything. Like he was just like put down and shot, and it's filmed, and it's like horrifying. But they show that up top, which I don't have any issue with because it immediately makes you be like, oh, this is based on actual events. But then it played a little too heavily to like this event coming. There are a few points where like the mother is like, why don't you take the BART train? Why don't you take the BART? It'll be safer. And you're like, no, it won't. And we know this. So like, why have that conversation? Or at least, I mean, I suppose this comes down to a similar thing of like delivering the title of a movie. Delivering basically the thing that is going to get the person killed when we all know what it is a hard line to deliver. I don't feel that it was delivered as well as it could. I think it should have been far more of a nonchalant line and way less stress, because they definitely like spent a while being like, well, how are we going to get, here or whatever? And it's like, well, why don't we take the BART? That's a great idea. It drew a little too much attention to it, but the relationships between our main character and all of the various supporting roles was really interesting, because it really like fleshed him out as a person. So you got to see his interaction with his girlfriend, wife, his daughter, his mom, his friends. You got to see like, I mean, it really tears you up, because you get to see that like, even though he's short on cash and he's just been fired and like has an altercation with his boss, like he's trying to make it and he's doing everything that he can, and then for him to just be like, I mean, put down like an animal is just like, ugh, it's pretty shitty, is how I probably can best put it. But it's a good film. I just think in terms of it getting snubbed, I think that happens all too frequently. Right now the way the award climate is he with the most money bags kind of closes everybody out. Lots of hays and highs. Let me just check back. All right, on the Twitter. What did I think about Pacific Rim? Asks Enigma K314 or Enigmac 314. I really enjoyed it. You have to go in to Pacific Rim knowing it is like a big dumb action movie. It's a cartoon realized of just like robots fighting monsters, and it just starts to go over the top, and it's definitely like it's got that feeling of like, we're teaching you a lesson. Like there are moments where it's like, we can do this if we work together. It's like, oh yeah, we should all be putting our differences aside so we can rise up and be the best. But it's an over-the-top film, and you have to go in knowing that, because then it will definitely deliver on that angle, especially when it's like, oh, this robot has a sword arm, and like, oh, this kaiju turns into a dragon. Like that moment in the theater, I remember just being like, bam, like everybody was just like, oh damn, everything just got stepped up. And then when it's like, oh, how do you beat a dragon? You beat a dragon with a sword in the air. It's ridiculous, and it plays a little bit like, just drag and drop of like, we've seen this before, but it's done in a very playful way. I also will say, uh, oh, Charlie Day is so fun as the scientist. He just he's just got that wonderful like frantic, excited energy. He actually was really reminding me of Goldblum a little bit in terms of like when he plays that more manic character. Jeff Goldblum when he plays like almost in The Fly, he's at least initially is like very sort of crazy and excited, and then of course things go all gritty on you because that's just what happens in that movie. To Josh Cole, who asked, "How was Turbo?" I'll talk about Turbo. Turbo was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'll give it that much. I actually saw Turbo because I was going to, because I wanted to make a comparison to it in my Monsters University review, but of course I can't really make that comparison unless I've seen it. So definitely was the only like just guy who came on his own to a screening of Turbo that day. Was surrounded by families. It was a little weird, but I mean, there's like some good in it. It's just got like a weird message attached to it of like, hey, like if you boil it down, it's like, hey, kids, sometimes you can't make it, but if you get some sort of special juice, you can live your dreams, which is like, I mean, ultimately what ends up happening is like he loses that ability and then he has to like work it on his own and do a callback to a thing that his brother encouraged him to do, but like when you look at it initially, it's almost supporting steroid use, which is a little weird. The other thing that, I mean, just for me was like odd, and I believe it also happened in A Bug's Life, was the birds who are like the crows who are just crows, they don't talk or anything, are like hyper realistic, and everything else in the world has like a very sort of cartoonish look. So that was just a little jarring. I guess it was to make it fearsome. I don't know if you heard that, but Alex occasionally is conversing with me. Yeah, I mean it made them fearsome, but it also just they were just pulled out a little bit from the whole thing. Another thing that I was kind of bothered by was how very similar the character design was to The Incredibles. Even going so far as Ken Jeong's character like really reminded me of Edna from like how she was voiced to like stature and everything. It was just like very interesting. Oh, you're capturing my setup so you can then post it?
Yeah, I like this.
It's like the best setup ever. I've got a very janky setup, 2 ottomans atop one another and a couch. That's how we're getting this wonderful level. Checking for other things. Francis Ha asks Duncan. Francis Ha, I actually... It's weird because with Noah Baumbach films in general, there's like a slightly stilted delivery to some of the lines, and then other lines they feel very natural, but I feel it works. Not all the time, but I did think that I thought that Greg Gerwig was fantastic, and it's just following a day in the life of, or a week in the life of, no, it's more than a week. Following the life of this girl, Frances, and her relationship with her roommate, and then her roommate moving out, and just how she kind of couch surfs and all this in the Greenwich Village area. Um, I I really felt that the performances were great. I liked how she there's just some very honest, earnest, slice of life moments that were captured very well. Um, that I don't know. I know that this won't be everybody's cup of tea, and you do have to kind of acclimate to the performance style. But once you kind of hone into it, I feel it really delivers. Um, ba-ba-da-ba-da-da. Inside Llewyn Davis. I really liked it. For the thing that I will say, even if you're oh, I don't know if I'm going to see that, just listen to the soundtrack, because the soundtrack is amazing. The songs are just so good. And Oscar Isaacs kills it. He is phenomenal as Llewyn Davis, and both in performance, acting wise, but also his song performance. He's just got you can feel just everything he's feeling, and as he's performing. It's also just one of those wonderful Coen Brothers films where there are so many characters that he just encounters in his week's adventure, that you're oh, there's definitely a bunch of story behind all of these people that are there for a moment and then they're gone. John Goodman's an example of that. I mean, Justin Timberlake's character, although you do see a fair amount of him. It is a very fun film. I definitely say it leaves a more open-ended final beat, much like A Serious Man does. But that's kind of the Coen Brothers style. I also loved Carey Mulligan just playing mean, very, very mean, because I feel lately, at least, I've seen her in more frail roles, in Drive or Great Gatsby, for example. So it was really fun to see her and Oscar Isaac just him asking a very relatively polite question, and her response just being "fuck you." It's just hard and biting, just a wonderful contrast, and you get to see him really get cut down throughout the film. But another film that I really enjoyed, and yeah, definitely check out the soundtrack, because holy heck. Why didn't I see the Secret Life of Walter Mitty? Advanced Stupidity. There were a lot of movies, and they all if Hollywood would be kinder and space the films out a little bit more, I would be more inclined to be able to catch them all. But when everything drops November, December, it's just a mad dash, and especially when you have to account for work and all other things, you're just where is the time to see all these movies? I did want to see Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I thought visually it looked really cool, and I do like Ben Stiller and Kristen Wiig. Star Trek Into Darkness. All right, Ollie. I mean, I'm not I don't know Star Trek at all. I'll be the first to admit it. I saw the reboot film, and I've seen Star Trek Into Darkness / Bizarro Wrath of Khan. I mean, that's what it is, to my understanding, is they just basically flipped a bunch of stuff that was in Wrath of Khan, but I don't know. There was some...
Really.
Not really? Not really?
The story was very different. They just appropriated a bunch of things from Wrath of Khan and just kind of crammed them in there.
Gotcha.
Wrath of Khan was not like that at all.
I've been meaning to watch Wrath of Khan. I was talking to a friend who was like, "You gotta see it. You gotta see it." But But yeah, so okay, apparently it just appropriated bits and pieces from Wrath of Khan and sort of jammed it in. Um, I mean, I like Chris Pine, I like Zachary Quinto. I just didn't feel. I mean, this is actually the issue I had with the first Star Trek film. Nothing ever sits. Like, we have so many moments that are like, this event just happened, and we never get a moment to be like, how does this affect our characters? Because we immediately are like, oh no, another crisis has happened. Like, in the first film, we see, like, they've just met up with Scotty, and then they beam him up, and there's like a bit where he like beams up into a tube. We don't need to see that. Like, sure, there's like a moment of comedy there, but it's like literally them just running from thing to thing to thing. And then in this film, and then in Star Trek Into Darkness, we have Scotty running back and forth in a hangar again for comedic effect. But it's just like, okay, can we just have a moment like when Captain Kirk dies or is irradiated to death, why don't we have a moment where like Spock gets a little more than just screaming Khan and is actually affected by things, and like the crew gets to be like, oh shit, like what do we do? But instead, it's like, oh, he died, but there's this thing going on and we need to take care of this right now, so let's go to another action sequence, and it just is like, it's cool. It's cool that Benedict Cumberbatch gets to fight Zachary Quinto, but like, let's like let our characters be feeling something rather than having like weird relationship banter as you like fly a ship around, and like for again, it just was like they were always favoring the like comedy snarky stuff rather than being like, let's see our characters like develop into characters. It just
like if they're worried if the movie slows down for a second, the whole thing's going to blow.
Yeah, if like we had, it was like we were dealing with, it was speed, correct? Like we have to keep the movie running however fast, otherwise like the audience is going to become disinterested, and it's like, guys, just like give us a few moments where like it's okay to like have a few slow beats, because then it also, in contrast, makes those moments of action matter more. And you get to like better develop all these moments, because like I definitely have forgotten about a bunch of different sequences in that. Speaking of Benedict Cumberbatch, who was it? Somebody, the chat just like, the comment chat just like moved, but somebody was asking for Desolation of Smaug. It was Roy O'Connor. Roy O'Connor asked about Desolation of Smaug. Yeah, it's Smaug, not Smog, even though in the case of Taut, the AU is like that, and it's aw. So I don't know. It could be Smog. It could be Smaug, whatever. I'm probably going to say Smog a few times. I thought the film was good. I thought the film, I don't know if it was better than the first Hobbit film. I think so, but I mean, in the case of all these Hobbit films, like I geek out over it just because I'm excited for Middle Earth, but I know it's not as good as Lord of the Rings. I mean, that is like not even opinion. I think everybody can like definitively say, yeah, Lord of the Rings, much more exciting than Hobbit. But Hobbit is supposed to be more friendly and goofy in just the sense and the way that the two books were written. I mean, where in the first film I liked the amount of like nods to Lord of the Rings of like, these things are happening. In this film I felt it was overdone. Especially like, I like Orlando Bloom. Don't know what happened to Orlando Bloom. Like, he had Elizabethtown and then like evaporated from the scene. Like he had run in 2 trilogies and then was like, nope, I'm gone, like I've disappeared, and then came back in the Hobbit films. Like, I don't think we need Legolas to like tie everything together. And Terrell, I believe, is the elf's name. I thought she was Terrell? Toriel, whatever it was. Like, she's not canon, so I don't need to pronounce her name correctly, right? Toriel, like, I thought she had an interesting storyline, but like the weird love triangle doesn't like do anything for me. Um, and it also, like, in watching this film, I suddenly became aware, and I don't remember the book, so maybe this is slightly different, but the fact that we again had a situation where it was like in Lake Town, we're dealing with another guy whose uh, ancestor is like very responsible in history, and it's like, oh, and it's up to you to like maybe restore your family name. Like, oh, these are things that just happen in like this universe, because I guess that appeals of like restoring honor and whatnot, because like, oh, Aragorn was king, should be king, but he walked away from it, and in this case it's like he had the chance to slay the dragon, but he screwed it up, so maybe in this next film he'll get to do it. Like, I don't know. Story wise, I was just a little on it. It's also very weird because for a film called The Hobbit, we definitely spent a lot less time with Bilbo than like, and like he's always with them, which was what was so like frustrating. It definitely was more Thorin's story than anybody's. That said, I did think Smog, I'm going with Smog, I thought that he was awesome looking, very cool. The whole sequence in the treasure chamber was pretty fun. Although I will say, if you're gonna like if you're gonna mess with all of his vocals as much as you were, like Benedict Cumberbatch, it could have been anybody voicing Smog almost. I felt that they just vocally distorted it so much that it was hardly intelligible as him. Um, Loptul asks on Twitter. Sorry, I've just shifted gears from you guys from Hobbit. I thought it was okay. Final words on Hobbit. Thought it was okay. Not great. I'm going to see the final one, but I'm not, expecting it to like break down barriers or anything. Loptil asks, "What do you think was the worst movie? What do you think the worst movie of 2013 was?" Granted, I didn't see. I mean, I only saw a handful of films, and I'm not going to go see a film if I don't think it's going to be good. So this is really, for me, more what film disappointed me the most, and I would say it was, yeah, like worst and disappointed me. Was In a World. It was it's a film about voiceover actors, and it stars Lake Bell as the daughter of a famous like voiceover person who known primarily for the In a World sort of thing, and it's her struggle as she's trying to make it within the ranks, and she's rivaled by Ken Marino, who is like kind of the new hotshot pretty boy voiceover guy, voiceover announcer character, and they're entwined a little bit, and then Dimitri Martin's in it, and I thought that it was all right. It just and it has like a lot of talent, and there are a lot of very fun, charming moments in it. But I really wanted it to be a little more unconventional in its overall just delivery. And this is just like a weird, I guess, ironic gripe. There were a few moments that I felt the audio had been ADR'd and it was not well mixed. So the audio in a movie about audio was not too great. And I think like the film is all right, and I think there are certainly some good points to it, but I just wasn't wowed. So for me, that was probably the most disappointing. I don't know if it was the worst movie. I mean, certainly not the worst. I didn't see movie 43 or anything like that, but I've heard movie 43 was a tough watch. What?
You know the guys who made like Epic Movie and all that? They made a movie this year?
Mm-hmm.
Started Games.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah.
I'd believe it.
I think.
I don't even know if you can be heard right now. You might need to stand closer. Okay. Look into the comments, refreshing the page. Best Picture. Oh, okay. Best Picture nominee rundown. All right, we're going into this territory. I'll do that. Um, American Hustle, 12 Years a Slave, Captain Phillips. As a result of this, I'm then going to be talking about all three of them because I haven't touched on them yet. American Hustle, as I've already stated before, I really do enjoy heist movies. So for me, like, it already just had an edge just because I'm always interested in the con game. Like, the Sting is fantastic, and in my, just I always really get jazzed on those sort of films. So I was already in just on the plot. I felt the performances were pretty strong. Like, all of these actors know how to act and can deliver. I didn't, in my mind, I didn't think any of the performances, however, were like, oh, this is the be-all, end-all performance. So I don't think all of the nominations were necessarily warranted. I felt that there were a lot of other great performances that happened. Like, we referenced Fruitvale Station before. Like, that would have been a great opportunity for like a lesser known actor to be getting some cred for really, putting the work in. And I'm somebody who, I mean, I weight gain and weight loss obviously is something that you really have to put effort into, but the performance and like what the character's doing and how much you deliver on that should be way more than a superficial weight gain or weight loss thing. In my mind, it shows commitment to the role, but those are my 2 cents on that. I don't think starving yourself or gaining 40 pounds for a role necessarily means like, oh, what a great actor. It's like, no, they just went all in on that regard. But so I thought American Hustle, like, it was very well acted. I did find it very entertaining. I liked Jennifer Lawrence as as the comic relief almost. Of everybody performing, I thought Jeremy Renner was the strongest character, because he was this character who has like the saddest end of everybody, really, because he's a dude who cares so much about his city and is willing to do like whatever it takes, but doesn't want to be unethical. But it's like kind of the only solution at the time. So he finds himself in this really unfortunate situation where he winds up getting conned and really paying the price for it. So you just got to see a lot of levels from him. So I really, yeah, Jeremy Renner, Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, I always enjoy seeing Louis C.K. in anything, and I felt that he just played the put-upon boss so well, and the little like ice fishing story that keeps coming up was really fun, especially with Bradley Cooper always trying to figure out what it is. There were some very good beats to the film. With 12 Years a Slave, well, that movie's going to make you feel depressed. That was a film where, in terms of best supporting, I want it to be going to Nyong'o is her Lupita Nyong'o, because she as as Michael Fassbender's, we'll describe as like favorite of the slaves. She just has such a tremendous journey that her character goes through. I just feel that, like, everything she goes through, you get to see so much pain. You get to also see, like, when she is on the other plantation, her a lot more comfortable, a lot more just, there's a very interesting interplay that she has with our main character. But I feel like for me, she was the standout, hands down. And I think Steve McQueen does a fantastic job as a director. If you haven't seen Hunger, definitely give that a look. And I mean, he very much knows how to direct Fassbender. Like, they've worked together multiple times. So the performance there is great. I will say, in terms of like minor gripes, Brad Pitt's character was a little too on the nose for me. of like, you know, I'm this like wonderful individual who thinks that slavery is a terrible thing, and I'm going to extrapolate a little bit more of like what the future would be like of like, and just it was a little, it just felt almost like anachronistic of like him speaking with so much hindsight when in the present. I don't know. It I know such people existed, but I think his character was a little too like broad, of just like the good white man who's trying to like help a guy out. Um, Also, Hans Zimmer wins lazy points for this movie. Because actually this was a film that Alex and I saw together, and we walked out and we're like, the song, the like main theme, and there's what?
It was good.
It's good. It's a good theme, except it is very, very, very similar to the theme in Inception for Mal. Yeah, the like the regret sort of theme, and so it just was like very, very similar, and it just kept interjecting itself. Like it didn't seem like there was much else than this one little melody that would just ebb and flow throughout. So it really called attention to itself, and then the fact that it was like, oh, this is almost from something else, was just a little bit disappointing. And then in terms of Captain Phillips, I really liked Captain Phillips. I am not going to be able to. Am I going to be able to pronounce his name? But the captain, not captain, but the Somali pirate, Captain Phillips, Barkhad Abdi, is great. As far as like, will he win the Oscar? Probably not. I think that Jared Leto is going to get it for Dallas Buyers Club, but I thought he did a great job. I thought Tom Hanks did a great job. I mean, the two of them are really like the strength of that movie, and getting to see like where they're both coming from. I do, however, feel that we didn't need to see the Somali pirates like before point of like until they essentially boarded the ship. I think it would have been more interesting to kind of get it from Captain Phillips' perspective more so, of like, oh, these people are, obviously clearly enemies and bad, and then once they board, we get to see them more as people, and then it becomes more like upsetting when everything starts to go awry as it does. Because none of those scenes in the very beginning, I felt, really lent themselves to much as far as like humanizing our characters. The Somali pirates went. It was just like, hey, this is like a bad situation that very easily could have been just told to us. And I know like normally it's show don't tell, but the scenes didn't contribute much other than, oh, it is bad. But we very clearly could see just from like what they had and what they showed up with that the situation that they're coming from is bad. So that's where I'm at on that. I think that as far as who's going to win, I mean, I believe it's going to be 12 years, but I could be wrong. I mean, in like my own heart of hearts, I would love it to be her, but I don't think it's as much of a darling for. And I think we've got a lot of old, kind of conservative-minded individuals. I'm still upset about Social Network losing to the King's Speech. While I did think the King's Speech was great, I thought Social Network spoke much more to a larger generation and like a shift in what the overall world is going to, whereas King's Speech was a very like traditional, like, oh, look at this, he's overcome it, how great, I feel pretty good about myself. So it goes. Thoughts on Prisoners, asks Tim. I really liked Prisoners. It was bleak as all hell. Again, this contributes to the theory that Paul Dano just really likes getting the shit kicked out of him, because this is another film where, Jesus Christ, he gets hurt. That said, Hugh Jackman like is the in my mind, like, just he gives a stellar performance. He is scary, and just like the lengths at which he goes through is just like horrifying. It's also very cool because this is like a completely original story. It's not based on anything, but it's like very unsettling, and you like almost could imagine these sort of things happening. Because we live in a really scary world sometimes. I was also just diving back a little bit to Oscars. Really surprised that Roger Deakins got a nomination for this one. Because like Prisoners was kind of in and out of the theaters relatively quick, and I thought if anything it was going to be nominated for a performance for Jackman. But Deakins got a nomination. Do I think he'll win? Oh no, he won't win, because that never happens. It'll more than likely go to Gravity. But I mean, Roger Deakins, you are the Leo of cinematographers. You just keep chasing that Oscar. He'll get it one of these days. God damn it, you will. You make your composition so pretty. Looking to Twitter as I've looked at the comments a bit. Nope. I somehow accidentally typed in Cappy. Can't find anything. I've already answered that. Oh, no movie requests on here, or I think I've addressed them all. Maybe I've missed something, but forgive me if I have. I haven't seen Thor 2, Mr. FJ. Very sorry about that. Refreshing for comments. And I think I'm just going to do a few more just movie comments on things. Hopefully I've addressed everything you guys were interested in, and then we're going to just turn it over to Q&A. Can you talk about Mud? Yes, I can talk about Mud. I really liked it. I thought, well, I mean, Matthew McConaughey is just doing a whole bunch of, like, I'm not going to be that romantic guy anymore. I'm going hard drama, and he's doing great. Like, he's stellar in Mud. He's stellar in Dallas Buyers Club. He's just really, like, committing hard to these very interesting projects. Mud, for those unfamiliar, is the story of two boys who come across this man Mud, who goes by Mud, living on this, like, kind of island outcrop in the South. I don't know specifically where. I don't remember offhand. But who introduces himself as Mud, and he kind of has them starting to act as errand boys for him as he tries to reconnect with a past love, Reese Witherspoon. And we slowly learn more bits and pieces about his past, and we learn that he killed a man and is convicted and has escaped and all this sort of stuff. And so it's just like the lengths of which you will go for love. And there's this, I mean, he definitely has like a slight delusional quality about him, but you can tell that it's all done with the best intentions. He just doesn't have a good handle on like what's going on in his life. I also thought the kids' performances were pretty strong. Not knock out of the park strong, but very solid. And I thought visually it was a fairly pretty film, a little like rough around the edges, but I feel that sort of film calls for that sort of thing. Also, just I don't know if it's been asked for, but definitely if you are enjoying McConaughey and Mud, you should definitely check out Dallas Buyers Club, because it's another really strong performance. He plays this bigoted Texan who's a junkie and contracts the HIV virus, and subsequently winds up with AIDS and starts to be looking for other remedies to kind of deal with the disease that he has, trying to stay alive because he's told that he only has 30 days to live. And so he starts looking for all these various herbal remedies and whatnot, and then he turns his getting these drugs from across the border and various other places, he turns it into a business, a buyer's club, which the whole idea behind it is that you aren't paying for drugs because him selling drugs to you would be illegal, but he can sell a membership to you, which grants you him giving drugs, and through like wonderful legal weavings, he manages to be like these buyers clubs manage to get away with it. And so it turns into the struggle of him trying to navigate not just for himself and be able to stay alive and take care of friends around him like Jared Leto's character, but also realizing like he's now like responsible for a lot more people, and you get to see like his view changes towards gay people as like he's now really coming to understand like the larger picture and how they're just people. And it just like really affects the whole community and all that sort of stuff, how that AIDS epidemic really kind of causes him to have a real shift in opinion, and it's just a very powerful performance. And I just remembered way back when I was like, there's something about Wolf of Wall Street that I'm going to remember. Kyle Chandler's character shows up like halfway through the film as like an FBI agent, like examining Leo's character, and that's the most interesting scene in the film, because at that point the film has stakes. Up until this point, like we're an hour and a half in, and we're just seeing the same like, oh, we're bad people, we're kind of douchebags, we do drugs and we have sex and we exploit people's greed. So there's like, they're like, yeah, little ups and downs of like what's happening, but you never feel that Leo at any point is up against anything. There doesn't seem to be like any challenge. And I know periodically like we have films that aren't looking for like a solid struggle, and even films like, I mean, films like Before Midnight, there's like minor conflict, but it's not like but in the case of this, I guess it just was a little exhausting that it was the same thing for so long. So when the FBI showed up, that was like, oh, this is something that he has to face again, like go off against, and then the conflict is like kind of swept under the rug, and then it crops up again, and then it is like easily remedied. And I know it's based on true events, but there just could have been like, I felt like we could have started a little later into the movie, or like trimmed some of the fat out of the middle, or something. There was also the issue of, I felt that Martin Scorsese was just very excited with the idea of kind of being a little more loose with the overall structure of the film, and like it's been said that there was a lot of like improv on set, and you can really see that. And as a result, like the scenes run really longer than they should. Like there's a moment that I honestly feel. There's Rob Reiner, and he's like, why are you laughing? Why are you smiling? To Jonah Hill. And I think it's actually because Jonah Hill is breaking, but he stays in character as well as he can. And like keeps rolling with it. I don't know if this is just speculation on my part, but it really does feel like we're seeing a lot of just like scenes that play out too long. And Kyle Chandler's character was like the one like thing that got me so amped. I mean, I also love Kyle Chandler as an actor. He's just really, really solid. If you want like just him, if you're like, who is he? Check out Friday Night Lights. It's streaming on Netflix, I believe. Like, he's great in it. I've remembered my thoughts on Wolf of Wall Street, so I'm glad for that, because I had many a thing to say. I think. Oh, is this feed unlisted? God damn it! I feel like such a fool. This is because Google Plus has made this whole thing really difficult. I feel like a silly one now. Goodness. Sorry, I am going to be dealing with this right now as I Just want to at least make some people catch the last half of this. Yeah, it's unlisted. God damn it. All right. All right. Whoops. The moment of me screwing up. Oh, goodness. I feel bad now. Google Plus, why do you have to keep changing things? I thought when it went live, it would also switch. No? Okay, that's fine. um, no, sadly, Liam, I don't have any thoughts on the Wind Rises other than, I mean, I want to see it. I haven't seen it, so that's a thing. Yeah, I just feel, oh gosh, I just feel really frustrated because I definitely told everybody that it was going to be out at noon, and it did start exactly at noon, but then it didn't switch from unlisted to private or public. Feel like a fool. Hey, all you newcomers, I screwed up. Whoops. But yeah, let's keep these questions going a little longer because I screwed up. I didn't see, to respond to some Twitter questions, did I see Escape from Tomorrow? No, I did not see Escape from Tomorrow. For those unfamiliar, Escape from Tomorrow was the film shot at Disney World and Disneyland. I don't know much else about it. I've heard from some people that it was just okay, but who knows? I haven't seen it, so thank you again, Friesen, if it tweet, for alerting you to the fact that it was only on unlisted. That was helpful. Thank you. God, I feel so silly about that. All right, thoughts on from Victormon asks, what did you think of This Is the End? I thought This Is the End was a pretty fun comedy, but I don't think, as far as staying power goes, I don't think this comedy will have, like, it won't last. As far as, like, man oh man, if you watch this in 5 years, like, you won't get a lot of the jokes. I think the humor is very very set to the now. Like, I mean, you're not, like, it's very topical. I thought there were fun points. I thought it dragged a little bit. This is, again, just, like, them get another case of directors getting excited of, like, we're just going to, like, improvise a few scenes. I think that was an instance of just, like, people getting a little too excited to be playing with one another. But so it goes. I'm trying to think of, like, fun moments. Oh, something that did really bother me about that, and maybe I just missed it in the film, Jay Baruchel's, like, callback to Backstreet Boys was never set up. So his final wish kind of didn't matter, like, when they're in heaven, kind of didn't matter. And I thought, I mean, there was a perfect opportunity for Backstreet Boys to be peppered in all throughout, but I don't know. There was a lot of, like, lack of setup outside of them joking about how they would the new Pineapple Express would be or whatever, and then we get to see it later with Danny McBride. I was sort of, I walked out being like, that was fun, but am I ever going to see the movie again? No, I'm not ever going to see This Is the End again. So, like, you definitely have to catch it, like, now before you forget all of the topical references that are going to be made. So, that's a thing. And there's an airplane that is flying very close to my apartment. Very close. Let's go to Twitter. I didn't see Only God Forgives. I did not. I wanted to, but it just kind of came and went. Same with Place Beyond the Pines. Yeah, there, again, just a lot of movies that tried to catch and just couldn't. Um, did you like Elysium at all? I thought it was okay. I mean, I was let down. I was admittedly let down because I really liked District 9. And this just felt very much like man on a mission going up against the, the very, the larger powers that be. Small guy taking on big guys, like great stuff, and you've got a mech suit, and that's pretty cool. I did like that right out of the gate, we were like, let's not just like wreck Matt Damon, let's destroy him. Like let's kill him in every capacity of like irradiating him and breaking his body all up and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty fun. What else? Let's see. I quickly saw a movie and then it evaporated. Saving Mr. Banks, asks Sam Trebles. I thought Saving Mr. Banks, I really enjoyed it. I'm also like kind of a Disney sucker. Oh my gosh, the couch has gotten very uncomfortable. Sorry, I'm changing position now. I am seated cross-legged. That's better. Saving Mr. Banks, I really enjoyed. I am just a bit of a Disney diehard in some regards. So, like, literally the moment that the 1961, like, Disney logo went across, I was just, like, already like, oh, God, it's coming. And they start with, like, the little chimney chime. So, like, it got me on, like, that level of just... it's definitely playing the nostalgia card very well. I thought that Emma Thompson was fantastic. As I thought she was absolutely stellar. I thought Tom Hanks was very good as well. And like, I mean, he's just a charming dude. Like, very, very charming. And I'm forgetting the name of the dad right now. It's Colin, and I'm going to confuse it. It's not Colin Firth. It's Colin Farrell? Is it Colin Farrell? Yeah, it's Colin Farrell. There we go. Colin Farrell plays Emma Thompson's dad, like in flashbacks, and we're cutting back and forth. So it's this very interesting thing where his character just plays like such a destroyed alcoholic, but who cares so much about his daughter that it's such a bummer. And then it ties really well into the story. And of course, I know in the case of Saving Mr. Banks, and it's like it's a little self-serving, but Disney has Disneyfied a story about itself Disneyfying a story. Which is kind of nuts, but it even though it's a little charming, like overly charming at points, I still think it really worked. It was really fun. I thought that all the what was it? Jason Schwartzman and doing real bad with names right now. But the composer brothers were both really fun, and the dynamic with her, Emma Thompson, them, and Bradley Whitford, just like very good, quick interplay between all of them. And so like the fun little calls and nods to the original, and getting to see like the breakdown of it was really fun. I thought that I did feel that Emma Thompson like should have gotten a nod. Because she was pretty strong. However, I'm gonna say I don't know if it was requested. The person who I do feel like absolutely deserved it, and I also kind of hinted at something that I could have weaved in this way. But Blue Jasmine, Cate Blanchett is like so good in that film. Like I would not necessarily describe the film as a favorite Woody Allen film of mine, and it definitely has a streetcar name, desire, like thread running through it in terms of just like beats. But there's some fun switch 'em ups that are happening, so that's really exciting. Just the way that but Kate Blanchett's character is just like right even from the start is like on the edge of this mental collapse, and you just get to watch her like kind of teary-eyed or like misty-eyed like all throughout, and you're like, when is she just going to break down? When is she just going to break down? And it is heart-wrenching to watch as she's just a wreck. Alec Baldwin is really strong in it. It's just like a shisty character, and the two of them play excellently off of one another. And then Louis C.K., as I mentioned before, I really enjoy Louis C.K. in these like smaller bit parts, and he plays like another kind of shitty dude in Blue Jasmine, who's romancing Jasmine's sister's character. There's just like a lot of very very fun, interesting, like well-developed characters that all like whenever you're like, oh, this person is going to be interacting with this person, you're like, oh, how are they going to like? There's just very fun interplay. Advanced Stupidity asks, "Now You See Me?" Oh, Now You See Me. This was another film that really really frustrated me. Because, like, I mean, I've already been talking some spoilers, but I'm definitely talking spoilers on this one. Now You See Me was one of those films where you're like, oh, this was a film just to fuck with the audience. Like, this film is all based around a twist that, when you think about it, makes no sense. So the whole idea about Now You See Me is again, I like heist films, so I was like, yeah, I want to see this film. It's a heist film about magicians. I also like magic, so I was like, yeah, gotta see this film. So it's two things that I'm really into, but it just, and like always seeing the like deconstruction of how they did it is cool. And they do that in the first part of things, but then when they get to the very end of like how did they do everything, it's revealed that wow, I'm just doing terrible with names today. Now You See Me. Investigating everything. So if you then look back on all of the events that have taken place, you have to ask the question, why is he doing any of what he's doing? And then the real reason for it is, oh, because it's being filmed right now. So he's trying to like it's just to trick the audience, because there'd be no reason for him to like enter a room to then get in a tussle with Dave Franco, because he wants to keep Dave Franco alive because he's part of this plan. So it's just like, why would there are multiple points too where this is happening, and you're like, so you were working against yourself, but also trying to keep all of these things in line. Why do that? Like, let's try to make this a little more airtight. This was just a very loose heist film, and it really bummed me out, because it was trying so hard for this big like ha, and it was like, no, you just like, that was just like a middle finger more than anything. Like, that wasn't my card, that was you just saying like fuck you, which is really, that frustrates me. It was a trick just to be a trick. Let us search for more. I haven't seen Lone Survivor. I've heard it's good, but I have not seen Lone Survivor. Doop, 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 doop. Sorry, guys, I'm not going to talk about any of the films that I've done reviews on. So for those people asking about Monsters University and Gravity and Great Gatsby and all that, those you can check out the reviews on. I'm just trying to get through all the stuff I haven't touched in 2013. Saw Elysium, This Is the End, Only God Forgives, Saw Hobbit 2. Okay, so I've addressed all of these. Um, I think I'm just going to at this point open it up to all questions. We'll start with the question that a few people have been asking, which is, have I seen Sherlock season 3? Yeah, I've seen it. Ugh, is so good. Is so good. Like, so good. I know that some people will be a bit bummed on the first episode, just based on like explanation and stuff like that, of like how did he survive. But I think there's part of it, and I don't want to talk too much in terms of spoilers in case anybody hasn't seen this stuff. But I feel like I'll speak in broader senses. In terms of just like larger arc, it was fun, and I don't feel that we're finally going to get like a definitive answer. And I think so. Everything that was provided in that first episode was not necessarily like what it actually was. The second episode was actually my favorite, which is the first time that that's happened. Usually the middle one always kind of dips a little bit for me. But I thought, just the setting of the wedding, I liked that rhyme there, even being a slant rhyme. I loved the setting of the wedding, and I loved how it was stitching together all these different mysteries. Loved getting to see drunk Sherlock. That was great. Also, third season really played into, let's like go into Sherlock's head a lot more, and that just became really fun. Mary also is like one of my new favorites. She's just really cool. Really, really cool. And then I'm very interested to see what Series 4 has in store for us. I won't speak any more on that. Maybe I will in the future, but right now, just because I know not everybody has seen everything, I'll leave it at that. And now my Twitter's like exploded. Do I watch Doctor Who? No, I don't. I still don't watch Doctor Who, and I know the longer I don't spend watching Doctor Who means the more that I have to catch up. Probosor, to answer your question, yeah, I missed you. You led the charge last time we had a live stream, so I appreciate you joining me back here. Any non-English films that you've seen in 2013 that I enjoyed? Yeah, Blue is the Warmest Color was actually the only foreign language film I saw this year. That's depressing on my end. I should be striving to do more of that. But I really enjoyed it. And I talked about it a little before. Again, very sorry about lousing up that, not making it go public. I don't know what I was doing. Thought it did. Last time it did. Whatever. But yeah, I will be posting this so everybody can watch it. Do you watch Pixar? Of course I watch Pixar. I love Pixar. They're fantastic. Do you enjoy Game of Thrones? I am reading Game of Thrones. I'm presently on the second book. Once I finish the third book, then I will start watching the show. That is what I told myself. I've been slowly working my way through it. I just have these terrible moments or lapses in like reading, then followed by like massive marathons. So like I read the first book in like 3 weeks, and then the second book I picked up like 4 months ago and read like 400 pages and then just like stopped and have now just recently picked it up. So I'm still in the depths of book 2, but have I seen A Town Called Panic? No, but I want to. It looks amazing, and it's been on my list of things that I need to watch. Any extra information on upcoming guests on your channel stuff? I've been in talks with a few other people outside of the three that I already mentioned. It's just a matter of really locking them down. Just want to get them all properly boxed up, as it were. Some of what I might said might have been a hint to who might be a guest in the future, but who knows? Oh my gosh. What do you think of My Cage by Ed Power, and can you read it? I don't even know what that is, so I don't think anything of it other than I should know about it. Did I enjoy Walking Dead Season 4? I don't watch the show. I only read the comic. The Act of Killing? Nope, haven't seen that. Lots of... Did you watch it? Nope. Do you like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I watched the first 4 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then was kind of just nonplussed by it. I was just like, well, this is a show. Like, it didn't wow me in any regard. I was really happy to have Agent Coulson, but nothing else really got me jazzed on it. I thought there was a little, I thought there was a little, like, interesting stuff hinted at, but we weren't getting anything else than that. Oh, Spring Breakers. Yes, I should talk about Spring Breakers. 8-Bit Banshee asks about Spring Breakers. I liked parts of it. I thought it was a little muddled, though. Harmony Korine, if you're unfamiliar with Harmony Korine, he does some interesting stuff. The last thing I saw from him was Trash Humpers, which was, equally strange. This one definitely was more narrative based. But I felt that, the emphasis on, like, oh, we've got a bunch of Disney stars in this, like, outside of, like, Selena Gomez was, like, I believe it was Selena Gomez was, like, gone in the first 30 minutes or whatever, so it, like, didn't matter. That there was just a lot of weird buzz associated with it, and it really picked up, but then, like, meandered a lot. I thought James Franco's character was really fun, and I'm like, that's another case of, like, I wish that the Academy would be looking a little more broadly in terms of just who could be nominated, because I thought that as supporting he could have been good, even as, like, best actor, because he really does, like, take front and center. It felt more like James Franco's movie than The Girls, but I don't really have any thoughts on Inherent Vice other than I really like PTA a lot, so I'm excited for it. Do you watch Sleepy Hollow at all? No, I don't. Although, crazily, I managed to be at a bar for a friend's movie, like, a while back and talk to one of the, like, writers or co-creators, I believe, not Kurtzman or Orsi, but, like, the other guy who was talking about, like, yeah, I've got this story that's like a Sleepy Hollow thing, and, like, I'm going to be in talks with these people, and I hope it goes well. And I was like, yeah, dude, like, absolutely, that sounds really interesting. And then it was like, it's, like, definitely a thing that people really like, it seems. How's your experience with Table Flip? Are you planning any more collabs? I had a lot of fun on Table Flip. For those of you unfamiliar, I was on the Game Grumps show on Polaris called Table Flip, where they play board games. Barry and Susie of Game Grumps play board games, and I was on the episodes where they played metagame with Captain Sparkles, another YouTuber. So if you go to, I believe it's polarisgo.com, but if you search Table Flip metagame that should pop up. As for more collabs with anybody, I mean, I'm hoping to have more people on my channel. I don't know if they wanted to have me back for Table Flip, I'd love to be a part of it because it was really fun. I like all them grumps. They're really fun. Do you plan on watching Flash TV spinoff or of Arrow? I mean, here the terrible truth is I am really bad on TV, and I'm like I'm still catching up on Breaking Bad. I'm on season 2, so there's a lot of television that I need to be watching. Somebody asked about, where is it? What kind of format are we looking at for Obituary? In terms of format, I mean, I'm not tethered to any. I assume you might need platform for release, maybe. I mean, my brother Zach and I are not tethered to any specific one. I think just based on what I'm most familiar with, I think internet release seems the most likely. But if somebody like if Cartoon Network for some reason got like really excited at something I pitched, like, I mean, yeah, that'd be great. And we're looking at shorter episodes. Like the scripts that we've been hammering out are like 10 pages in length, but they should move pretty quickly, and they do some pretty fun things. And there's like an exciting world that we've built out, lots of weird rules with ghosts, and things beyond ghosts. Would you consider TV series in addition to movies? I've definitely been thinking about TV series. Sherlock is one that I've been thinking about. I actually forever ago had been like, I should be doing something on the new Arrested Development and things like that. So it's a situation where I've thought about a lot of things, but just the way that life is wonderfully busy sometimes, I stick with what I've done. It's also a situation where with television, I guess the format would change a little bit, not necessarily completely, but you'd definitely not be getting a lot of imagery behind me. I think it'd just be more of a static image and perhaps me jumping back and forth occasionally. So that would be a differing thing. I don't know if people would be like, why isn't there video playing behind you? But maybe that's better. That it would require a lot less editing on my part to be unable to pull clips. So was that Egoraptor in your mention? I mean, Aaron and I are friends, so I had mentioned that I had mentioned Obituary to him. I had mentioned Obituary to actually all the grumps when we were filming on Table Flips. So I appreciate the mention because I know a lot of great animators are following him, and I mean we're looking for, like, Zach and I have been very inspired by a lot of like older Nickelodeon and cartoons, and I mean even we like a lot of the classic cartoons now that I think about it. Like I watched a lot of like Rocky and Bullwinkle growing up as a kid because I'm weird like that, and like the classic Scooby-Doo. We definitely like talked back and forth a lot about the new like reboot of Scooby-Doo Incorporated, I believe it was. Oh my gosh, the comment section just exploded. I don't know what just happened. Community Season 5 hype, asks Schwout. I did not pronounce that series of letters strung together correctly. Community Season 5 hype. I'm enjoying Season 5. I thought the most recent episode of Troy's departure, I think everything surrounding Troy's departure was handled pretty well. It definitely went the crazy train route, which, I mean, it felt very paintball, so I'm never mad at that. I mean, I'm glad that Dan Harmon's back. I think things are more likely to be a little more unhinged and edgy in that regard. Also, if any of you are familiar with Rick and Morty, oh my gosh, I love that show so much. And the fact that Adult Swim is being really cool about it and putting out videos, new episodes like every Monday that are up for that limited spell. That delights me. So yeah, check out Rick and Morty if you want, like, basically the relationship of Marty McFly and Doc Brown extrapolated and stretched a little bit and taken to very weird places. Um, how are Nick Kocher and Beiji Mc? I don't know how to pronounce his name. How is Britannic in Much Ado About Nothing? I love them. I love them. Nathan Fillion. I thought just that whole Night Watch clique really funny. I thought the film itself was pretty strong, and definitely offers now every English teacher an alternative as opposed to the Kenneth Branagh version when they're showing it in school. So that's exciting, and it gets to show the various takes that you can have and perspectives, because everybody really does enjoy giving a new angle to a Shakespeare play. So that was fun. Have you seen the Italian movie The Great Beauty? I have not. Am I looking for any interns or any outside help for my channel? Not really. Just because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I mean, send a reel of your work if you're really excited, I guess. I don't know. I'm recalcitrant a little bit in that regard, but I don't know. I mean, I know you guys want videos, so I should be a little more flexing. I'm just like very anxious about relinquishing control sometimes. Divergent book series movie coming out. That is a declarative statement and question. Yes, Divergent is coming out, and actually, Alex, that was the one that Matt worked on, right? Alex, Matt worked on Divergent, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually, Alex and I have we have a friend who worked on Divergent, so he's been talking it up for a while.
They're doing reshoots right now, and the movie comes out in like 2 months.
They're doing reshoots now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Spoilers. Not really spoilers.
There's always reshoots.
Yeah, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close to the end. I mean, I'm unfamiliar with the movie series or the book series, so I don't really have an opinion on it, other than I'll probably see it because our friend worked on it.
It's supposed to be pretty good.
Are you looking forward to Batman versus Superman? I mean, yes. I want to be excited for Batman versus Superman. Do I think it'll be good? I mean, I want it to. I really want it to. I mean, we don't know anything about it, so I can just be like, yes, I want it to be great. I mean, I want every movie to be good. I don't want a bad movie ever. What is going on? What's your opinion on the Fantastic Four movie? I don't know much about Fantastic Four, to be completely honest. I know that Josh Trank is directing it, who directed Chronicle. That's about it. Now I'm getting a bunch of movies and shows and stuff that I just haven't watched. Yeah, Wolverine and Thor 2 I didn't see. VidCon question. Will I be at VidCon? Yeah, more than likely. I mean, I've actually been at VidCon the past 2 years, but that was primarily there for work, and just being supportive of those guys and helping out in any way I could. I mean, I'll probably be there more than likely, even if I'm not like at VidCon as like a, whatever. I'm driving distance from Anaheim, so I could very simply be like, hey, I'm gonna be here. Let's meet out front at blank place and meet up if you guys wanted to. Also, I mean, just in terms of meetup stuff, I might as well just throw this one out there and see if this is a thing. I'm going to be going to a wedding in Germany in like the summertime. So if there are any people in Europe who would want to meet up, maybe we can start figuring out what that is. I guess really the question is, are there any people in Europe who are fans enough to warrant me to set aside a day to like make a meetup happen? Because I've never been to Europe, so I'm trying to delegate time appropriately, but I certainly don't want to like, you know, if we can meet up, I'd like that to be a thing if people are interested. So yeah, VidCon is a thing that will more than likely happen. Me being there in some capacity. You mentioned your job a lot. What do? I work as I work as the editor for Smosh. That's what I do, as the video editor for the main channel Friday releases. So that's my job. What work would you do if you lost your fingers in a car accident? Oh my God, that's actually I've had like not actual nightmares, but like I've thought about like, oh my gosh, what would I do if I lost my hands? And I don't really have a. I mean, I guess that would be. I'd try to write. I mean, and by that like go through dictation with like an assistant typing everything up. I don't know. I really don't know. I've thought about if I had to lose a leg, losing my left leg would be of all limbs, losing the left leg would be the one that I'd want to lose, just because at least then with the right leg I could still drive. But this is getting into weird questions, guys. Let's just do a few more because this I've been going for almost 2 hours now. How about a meetup in North Korea? I don't think I'm going to do a meetup in North Korea. Chocolate Town's still feuding with Vanillaville. Well, things are getting a little tricky. We're going through. There are some talks that are being had, but we'll see if we can put our differences aside. Don't want any more peppermint spears flying in. A lot of civilian casualties. We'll see what happens. So I guess I think we're wrapping it up on the stream front. Are there any last questions? I think I'll just wrap it up. I'm sorry that I haven't gotten to everybody's questions, but I hope I discussed at least most of the movies that we wanted to, that you guys wanted to know about that I saw in 2013. If you happen to come late to the stream, I'll be uploading this just so people can later watch it if they came late or weren't able to watch. Thank you all so much for joining me in this stream. Sorry again for the weird confusion about me not realizing that it was posted on unlisted and not public. Thanks Google Plus for not changing that. Anyway, but yeah, thank you so much for joining me here, for providing comments, questions. I am already very overwhelmed and impressed with everybody who's been submitting for the obituary artist position. Like, you guys, there are some seriously talented people out there, and I'm like so impressed that you're like, I want to be working with you in this capacity. So that's very exciting. My brother and I are going to have a lot of just work cut out for us looking through everybody's portfolios, but this is really exciting. We're hoping to, get a really fun cartoon out soon. Well, everything with cartoons takes a while. Animation takes a while. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. As always, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, all that lovely stuff. Keep loving movies, guys, and thanks so much for joining. Bye.